live. All right, it says we're live. It's first time. Let me check LinkedIn to make sure we're all set. Let's see. I think it's still taking a sec. Let's see. Check over here. Let's see. LinkedIn. All right, let's see. There we go. Yep. All right. It looks like we're all good. Cool, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, everybody? This is the first official LinkedIn live stream with we got Frank on here with myself, Cole Gonzales, CEO of OSSA. Frank is you don't know Frank's got quite the extensive background, quite the list of trophies. He's done a lot. He's been super helpful for us so far in this journey. Pretty funny story for anyone who doesn't know how Frank and I met. I was wandering around in Discord in the early days of OSSA, and I just so happened to run into Frank in a one-off call, and I was talking about OSSA. It was a big community. There's probably 70 people in there. And what happened was I was talking about OSSA, and this guy Frank with profile picture. I don't even think it was it was your face. And he's like, "Yo, you built this?" And then I'm like, "Well, not really. We have like a small team." And I kind of showed it, and he's like, "Bro, this is like really good." And then from there, he's like, "Yeah, man, like I have a big following on LinkedIn." I originally, to be honest, I don't think I ever told Frank this, but I originally actually reached out to him because I thought he was just like an influencer, because he's like, "I got 7,000 followers on LinkedIn." And then I like looked at what he's done, and I'm like, whoa. Yeah, and we're super grateful. So super awesome to have you on here, Frank, and kind of just chat about OSSA, chat about the new position that's opened up, and hopefully also share some value with some some people that are out there looking for an opportunity here in the tech space.
Yeah, exactly. It's we're really excited about this. As OSSA keeps growing, we need awesome people to help out. So we've been working together to interview a bunch of people. There was like, you guys really showed up. There was tons of people that applied. Again, to give us a moment to get back to everyone because we got slammed. But yeah, the past couple days have been really great. Met some awesome people, and the process is going well. And I think the more we speak about OSA and kind of like what we're all about, we're getting really good feedback from the very talented people. So yeah, it's been really good so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just opened up the chat, so welcome everybody. I'm just seeing some messages in here. We got Keishan, we got Key. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. We got Ollie. A lot of people in here. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Super awesome. This is the first one here. We'll be doing these as well on Saturday. So we have another one this Saturday. I'm meeting with a really big creator who also is a legal business owner, and we're going to kind of talk about how businesses are using OSSA.AI. So that's going to be super exciting. And I'm sure Frank and I will do a couple more of these. Hopefully you guys get some value out of this. Frank has a ton of experience, great amount of experience in the tech space, in multiple different realms. So yeah, we're going to kind of just dive in a little bit more about what OSSA is, because I know there's just a lot of new faces. My face is probably new to you guys, and Frank as well, and OSSA might be new. And then just for context, just to give a little bit more to what Frank said, we got over 1,200 applications to that position. So if we haven't gotten back to you, we do apologize. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's obviously a lot of people to look through, and we want to make sure, we give everyone a good look over. So, I mean, just kind of starting off for anybody that, is new here, hasn't heard of OSSA.AI, we actually started building OSSA back in 2022. And that was kind of when the vision started. And, my background is in content creation. So I'm a social media creator, have around 7 million followers and 4 billion short form views. And I started this with my co-founder. His name's Brennan Duncan. So we met years before. He's the head of growth here at OSSA. And originally we built out this Discord community, and I thought that, maybe I wanted to do, a community to help a lot of people. And that was always my goal, is to help content creators. And we built out this Discord community, and we thought, that's it. Like, I grew it to 30,000 people. We're going to do like a course, paid Discord community. And then I'm like, I don't really want to be the guy who just has a course. Like, I wanted to really build something, that would really impact people. So I ended up canning that idea. We didn't ever charge for the course. And then I remember, and I'm sure people in here know this. You guys know 11 Labs. I remember seeing a video on my for you page or on my for you page on TikTok. Do like an 11 Labs voiceover, and I saw it had like 400,000 likes, and I was like, whoa, like look at these people commenting on this video. Like they don't even care that it's AI. It's crazy. And that was when I saw this was back in end of 2022 and when GPT 3.5 came out. And I was like, that's it. Like AI is coming to social media because people don't care if it's a good piece of content, they're going to consume it. So, anyways, long story short, over the past, year and 2 months from there, we built OSSA.AI. We had Brennan and I started off with it. We learned a little bit of code. He's a little more technical than I am, and then we eventually met our lead developer now. His name's Jaden. He's 20 years old. Absolutely brilliant individual. And Frank's really helped Jaden out. So we're super grateful for that. And we're all just learning. We're a super small team. A lot of people probably look at OSSA and you think we have, 10 developers on board. We have, one lead dev and we've, worked with some other developers. And then we have two other founders. So we're a pretty small team and we're really tight knit. And our goal is really just to make influence accessible to everyone, make storytelling accessible to everyone. And our hypothesis, in order to really build something big, you have to believe that people are doing it wrong. And we truly believe that all these companies, respect them for building out incredible things because it's a ton of work to do that. And they're supporting tons of, roles and giving people's livelihood, right? But from a content creator standpoint, I don't agree with a lot of how these companies are approaching video generation because it's very creative and it requires creativity and technology. It's not just a technological thing. So that's just a little background on OSSA, kind of how we got here. Maybe Frank can dive a little bit more into kind of where we're at in the process and why we actually are, looking for another developer.
Yeah, so I think it's, the base product is amazing, right? The way I know OSA is, creating tools for people to tell their stories, like storytelling tools. So it's a very different way about thinking about something. Most of the stuff you see from like Silicon Valley, it's like those guys build amazing pipes, right? They build the thing, you can upload a lot of videos to it, all the things, but it takes content creators to like Cole to actually jump over to the tech side and say, hey, listen, this is actually how you do this, right? So I'll give you like a personal story, right? I used OSA for a TikTok video, and I didn't think anything of it, but I mean the thing got 28,000 views. Like I've never had those kind of views ever on anything I've made, right? So it gives anyone the power to do this, right? And I think over time we're starting to see, okay, great, we have the short form, we're going to continue to improve it, but the vision is grand, right? It's to give different types of tools for telling stories, and then over time we're going to build it out, right? We want to have different types of things, maybe long form, maybe something else. And so we need people to help us with that mission, right? It's super daunting to do it with such a small team, and we don't want to get like burnt out, right? We want to actually do something that makes an impact, that gets all the other guys like scared. Uh, we need a team of people, and so going through this process, again, we're looking for, hey, do you have any React experience, right? Do you know about like we're using infrastructure from Azure? Do you know how to orchestrate things? We're looking to do real-time generation of videos, right? Like all these things, like we need a lot of talent out there. And so the best way to do that is, again, we posted on LinkedIn, and we've gotten like an amazing response. Wide gamut of people that are like newer, people that are more experienced, and yeah, we're just like super excited about where it's going. And you're doing something right when you get that many replies back from a posting, right? Most companies typically they put a posting up and they don't really get that many people. This is like hot new technology. All the people that are working at OSA are like really good at what they do. So you would be joining a team of people who are like experts at what they do. And we want to reach out to more people. Right now we're looking for someone that's like full stack, and of course if that's you, please apply. Like let us know like what your skills are. we're very kind of like straightforward people. We'll talk to anyone
Mhm.
because we really want to get it out there.
Yep. No, and just to kind of follow up on that point, just a small thing. I can't comment back to you guys, but welcome everybody. I can see there's a good amount of people in here. And just to kind of add on to that, yeah, like we're always looking for more talent, and I just really want to harp on this. Just because we have one spot open now, we are going to grow, especially over these next couple quarters here, and we will need more talent. So one thing I was talking about Frank earlier is it's really incredible to just chat with so many diverse people that have different skill sets, because Frank and I hop off after and we're like, well, maybe that person's not it now, but later down the line that could be a perfect fit. And that's kind of how we're thinking. It's not like we need this one person right now and everyone else, sorry. It's like, okay, let's kind of keep tabs on who we're chatting with and who's interacting, within our socials and
Mm.
we have all a huge list of people that obviously this is just one position now, but we're not going to scale with only just a couple developers. We're going to need, more talented individuals. So I just really want to make that known is that we're really going to be a lot more vocal over these next couple months on kind of where the company's at. And I've been talking more about kind of where we're at. So even if, it doesn't end up working out for you right now, that definitely does not mean in the future there's not going to be more opportunities. So I just really wanted to let that kind of sink in for anyone who's here and taking time to listen in. And another thing is, if that job application is closed right now, but if you're here and you didn't get a chance to, apply, and you can still see the post, I mean, you can still shoot me a DM and I'll take a look through. And if I see anything there, I'll get back to you. Obviously, I have a ton of direct messages. I got probably like 1,000 over the past, 3, 4 days as this job post was up. So obviously just give us some time to kind of get back to you guys as Frank was talking about. But yeah, Frank, I mean, I would love to have you chat a little bit more about, from your perspective. You've been in this game for, 20 years.
Mhm.
And obviously we're super humbled as a team, as you know, I say this all the time, to be involved. We're super excited and super grateful. But what was it about, OSSA that made you actually, want to come in and kind of help us out here?
Yeah, for sure, and it's very clear, right? So, um, I've been around long enough to know kind of like the inflection points of technology. So, I started off doing computer science in college a long time ago. I was actually part of a couple like really early startups that were part of like the whole dot com like bubble bursting, right? So all the way back from ideas that didn't work before, meaning one of them was called Webvan. So imagine back then, the concept of somebody delivering food to your door was unheard of, right? Now that's Instacart, right? So if you go over a long enough time horizon, you're always going to start seeing like things that possibly didn't work before or starting to work again. Same thing with the iPhones, right? When the iPhone first started, when literally I was in line in like in Santa Monica in California, in line waiting for a phone, like it was like it was like waiting for tickets to like a super popular musician, right? It was like super hot commodity. People couldn't wait to get their hands on it. And once you got the phone, you're like, okay, great. It has like 4 apps on it, right? So then I knew that there was going to be an explosion of apps, right? So
Mhm.
I started kind of learning how to do like specifically mobile app programming. Back in those days, like there was literally nothing about it, right? I literally had to fly up to Cupertino to meet up with some developers of Apple apps, like from just traditional desktop apps, because they were the only people who literally knew anything about the programming language that the iPhone was using. So super really early on with that, I rode that wave for like super long time. Uh, you know, got to work on some amazing projects. Very very large streaming platforms. Uh, there is a 99% chance that everyone that's listening to this right now has used some code that I have written. And that's amazing, right? So the iPhone and mobile apps in general, it unlocked accessibility to use apps for everybody. Now we're in the AI phase, right? So AI is something again that's been around since the 70s, hasn't been that good, but as computing power grew more and more, now we're starting to see like, okay, now it could do certain things. And something like Chat GPT was basically a fluke, right? I just saw something about it that the guys from OpenAI weren't even planning on releasing that as a product, right? So you're starting to see like the cracks of like what is everyone trying to figure out what AI could and should do, right? I think everyone is wrong. I think really AI is going to be something we haven't even thought of yet, right? And because you give it enough time to mature, and people will find a specific way. The one thing that really stood out when I was checking out OSA is most of the tools that were out previous to it, I didn't feel as if like the end product was not something I would watch myself, right? And that was really what it was. Whereas the end product was something that I was very interested in. I posted it to TikTok. It got 28,000 views. I was like, "Hey Cole, I'm sold, man. Like, how do I help out? Like any way I can. I'll sweep the floors if I need to, like whatever it takes." But realistically, it's like I'm seeing it as a repetition of an inflection point, right? It's like when does AI get to the point where it's entertaining, right? And I know the power of video, right? It's like imagine I've built the world's largest streaming platform, and I know how much hours and time is consumed on these platforms because people just love it. People are just naturally drawn to storytelling, right? Now we can create storytelling with, using artificial intelligence. That synthesis of those two things means that anyone can do it, right? It doesn't matter if you're funny or if you can't dance, if you have a bad voice, right? It doesn't matter. It's more based on the content of what you want. And I think this first tool that has come out from OSA is it's a game changer. And I think a lot of people are really scared, including like, people that are in the same space. They're starting to see that what can be produced with AI is more than what they think. In fact, I have seen a competitor starting to try to do some of what OSA is trying to do. That means that they're scared, right? They have all these resources, they can't get engaging videos out, but you know, also got there first. And that's why it's important for us. You have to that ethos has to like sink into whoever is interested in working with OSA, because we're not in it for like a quick thing, right? It's like we want someone who understands like how important content is,
Yeah.
and what you can produce.
Nope. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's incredible, and I think it kind of segues us into kind of what we're aiming to do, and kind of what it means to us to be building this product. And I would love to kind of take you guys through, what OSSA looks like, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it, but maybe we could go through a quick demo, show you guys, and then dive into maybe a couple more things towards the end here about kind of the state of tech, and maybe people looking for opportunities, and maybe Frank could give some tips on what he looks for, because he's done over, 3,000. I was talking to him, over 3,000 interviews. So he's obviously been around the block. So I'm sure he's got some really good stuff for you guys. But, you touched on a really good point there. And what I'm really proud to say, and it's not just me, because we have an incredible team, and we wouldn't be here without the team. Like, you see myself, the CEO, but it's like we have a lead dev that's building out the whole product. We have our head of growth, who's incredible on the marketing side. We even have Blake, who manages our social. So it's like it's a team effort, right? But what excites me and the team is that we can definitely confidently say that we're the first platform in the world to actually provide a use case of allowing someone to create a video that actually performs on social media. Now, what's really interesting about this is that some people use our platform and the videos flop, but it's supposed to be like that, because if we guarantee that a video performs, in that is also the assumption that that user has no control. And I think that's super important, because it would be really easy for us to just run a completion to OpenAI and say, and do a system prompt like a lot of these companies do, and just build a wrapper and be like, press this button and make me a script, right? But I think that that's not really what people want. People want that control, right? And yeah, there's more friction with kind of having to think, but it's like in that thinking comes the actual creative part, right? And I think that's a big mistake that a lot of companies have made, that they can't really go back on, because with convenience comes lack of creativity. And with lack of creativity comes people that actually don't continue to use the product. Because if you think about any product that you use, in my opinion, it's something that you have like an attachment to and you really enjoy and you have ownership over. So if we relinquish everything to AI, right? Yeah, maybe we could just kind of give everyone, the best scripts ever, but it's like it's not really theirs. And granted, over time, right, as the team grows, will we build out systems to kind of help that process? Yeah, probably. But I think that us starting from a place where it's like, you know what, all these other companies are just trying to automate everything, we're actually not going to do that. And that was a hypothesis that had not been proven. It was just, from my point of view, I'm like, I think that's best for the users. It might not be easiest, but that's the best. And obviously it's been proven through all the success that people are having. So I think that's like a really big point that, granted, we're in a very fortunate position because if you're a massive company, you can't really pivot off of what you guys already have. Like it's kind of too late. Unless you want to totally shift the company's vision, which is very hard to do if you have a multi-$100 million company. So that's something I'm really grateful for, that the approach that we took. And I think that's really what separates us. And it ties into what Frank is saying, is like, it wasn't just that Frank pressed a button and the video generated. Of course, there's an automated system in the back end that helps create that video, but he typed in that script. It was his script and he felt ownership over that video performing, right? And it's that perfect inflection point, that perfect merge between creativity and technology that allows someone to be like, I did that, not the AI did that. And I think that's incredibly important. So Frank, I don't know if you have, any thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I think again, that's the thing about AI. It's like it feels like magic, but it's almost like you wanted you wanted to cast the spell that you made, that you wanted to do, right? Because again, if all you're doing is cranking out videos that all feel and look the same, that's where, that's where it goes wrong, right? It's like if everything feels formulaic and generic, it's not great. Like you're right, like my video could have totally flopped, but it didn't. It did better than I could have done myself, right? I could learn how to do video editing. I could learn how to do all these things, but I focused on the script and it generated something amazing, right? With an amazing voice, including like it wasn't my voice, right? So I didn't have to get all this equipment. I didn't have to do all the things that most people have to do. So it gives you it's like a bicycle for your brain. It gives you like a tool to go faster, right? So I that's why the end product was so good, and it's like I could even tweak it, right? I could make it, I can have the same script and it can edit it a little bit differently, right? And so it's like you generate different ways to do something that you want versus like you're not given training wheels, right? Like we want you to be creative. We want you to learn how to write a script, how to create content that's engaging for you and for the thing that you want to do, right? If you have an interest in history, if you have an interest in anime, if you have an interest in whatever you're interested in, you can make that now. Like that's a huge difference. That wasn't always the case because, again, we have people in the space, they give you pre-canned videos. So like what if you didn't want that video and you can't find another one, right? Are you stuck? Right? So we give you the ability to create what you want.
Yep. And I think it just really comes down to that is, um, you know, I have a strong belief in human creativity. I know a lot of people are really scared about AI, especially people who aren't too tuned in. But my belief has always been AI is going to be a tool until it's so powerful that it's just everything. And it's like until we get there, it's going to be as good as the person using it. And that's how I've always leveraged it, right? I'm sure everyone here's used ChatGPT. It's like no matter how good the model is, right? How good ChatGPT 4 or 4.0 is, right? If you're not a copywriter, it's not going to give you good copy. Why? Well, because you don't have the discernment to say whether or not it's good copy. And we took that same approach with content creation as like, it's okay if somebody makes a video and it sucks, because that's an indication that they probably need to get a little bit better at content creation. But it's like that whole growth and them coming back and improving it. It's like, that's being a content creator, right? Nobody wants everything super easy. And if someone does, then maybe they should just probably use another platform. And that's totally okay with me. But, my thing has always been, I really want to empower people to be creative. I don't want to take that away from people. And no one on the team wants that. And that's kind of really what distinguishes us is in a, in a pool of tech, and video generation where everyone's focused on what's the least path of resistance for the user. We're like, what's the perfect path of resistance for the user so that they can retain creativity, but also spend way less time. And Frank didn't really touch on this, and I don't think I have either, but we definitely are just beginning. And there's so much we have planned in terms of diversity of content where a user is going to have even more control over their video and some. It's super exciting because the way we've set up, I saw someone asking kind of about our tech stack. And we typically don't really share too much about that. But the thing I can tell you is that the way that we've built this isn't like a wrapper. It's a combination of many different services that are moving with AI. So as the space develops, we will continue to the product will just get better as a byproduct, right? And yeah, we use some APIs, I'm sure you guys know. But that doesn't mean over time we won't just build those things out ourselves. But the way that we've approached it is just very different in terms of building a product. We really built backwards. We said what is a good video instead of what is a an automated process. So yeah, super exciting stuff there. Frank, maybe if you have anything else to share, and then in a minute I'll probably just maybe pull up OSSA.AI and show everyone kind of what it looks like if they're unfamiliar.
Yeah, no, I think it's like the part that makes this so exciting is it's all brand new, right? I don't care who you are or what you've done, it's all new. So we're trying to figure all this stuff out together. So it's like being part of a team that's like figuring out the hard stuff and actually getting we have a lot of people have signed up to OSA, man. It's like it's not a small thing. And it's because the end product is good and we need more people to make it better, right? So we want to, encourage people to like hit us up, like let us know what you can do, because we're gonna just keep growing. And it's like again, might not be the right time, but then in the future, we'd love to hire even more people, right? But people that are interested in the goal, right? The goal is to make the best storytelling platform in the world, period. And
Yep.
I've built something before that again everyone uses, and I know the power of it. So yeah, we're just really excited. We can't wait for more people to let us know what they're up to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one quick thing before we kind of I go ahead and share my screen. I want to share some stuff with you guys about OSSA, a couple cool things, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. Frank will probably touch on his opinions on kind of finding opportunities in the space, things of that nature, what he looks for, because he obviously has a lot of experience. Just kind of to put this in perspective, um, we're all in. This team is all in, and I think I could confidently say that this team is not just myself, but our lead developer, the head of growth, has sacrificed an incredible amount to get to where we are, and will continue to do so. Myself and the head of growth, Brennan, we haven't taken salaries for 2 years while we're building this. That's how dedicated we are. He sold his car halfway through 2023 to fund the business, right? The amount of, Jaden develops 7 days a week, 10-hour days, right? And the whole team is working 6 to 7 hour, or 6 to 7 day weeks, 8 to 10 hour days, sometimes 12-hour days. Now, I don't say that to scare anyone, and that's never an expectation for someone who comes on, but it's like that's the type of team behind this thing, because we have so much belief in what we're doing. And a lot of people would probably look at what we're doing and say we're bootstrapped and we're a small team. You guys have no chance against these big dogs. But we know we do because we have a strong belief that a lot of them are doing it wrong. And it's just a factor of time. These guys have just been in it for longer than us. It's normal that these things take time. We're not in a rush. So I wanted to share that because I think it's important that anyone who is interested in, kind of coming on at some point and kind of knowing what we do, that's the type of people behind this. It's not, we work from, Monday to Thursday and, we come in here and we do that. It's like, no, the whole team is in it. And it's like, we're here until the work's finished. And the truth is the work's never done. But I think that's important for, anyone here to know is that that's the kind of culture we have here. And we don't ask anything of anyone on the team that we don't do ourselves. And it's obviously we could dive into kind of the culture, in another conversation, but I think that's important because there's probably people that might be wondering some of those things. Cool. Well, let me go ahead and share my screen because I want to share a couple things and then we'll kind of wrap this up. Sorry, this is actually our first time on here. So let me see if I can figure this out. All right, I think I got it. Cool. So I just want to kind of pop in here and show you guys. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar, but this is getting recorded as well. So for anyone who's kind of, catching this and they're kind of like, what is OSSA? I like listening to Cole and Frank, but apparently there's OSSA too. So I kind of want to see what's going on there. So just going to kind of pull that up. I think I might have to, we just updated that. So I think I might have to grab a new login. So just give me one moment here, actually. Let's see. Let me grab this here. There we go. All right. Let's pop this out. Okay, there we go. Cool. So cool. Here we are. So essentially, we've been chatting about this for the past little bit here, but kind of wanted to share with you guys what it really looks like and how incredibly simple the process is if you guys haven't signed up. And if you haven't, I definitely recommend checking it out. We have a free plan, so you guys can come in and check it out if you want to kind of test these things yourself. But before I even go through kind of the very simple, 5-step process, one thing I want to share is right here, which is a showcase, which I think everyone in here should go look at because it's really incredible. It's awesome to see this. So these are all in real time from our free users. As you can see the timestamps at the bottom, but these are all unique videos that individuals on the platform right now are creating. Insane. And you can see here, no single video is the same. Frank talked about this just a moment ago, and I think that's so important is that as you go through here, you can actually click into the videos and you can get an idea of how these were created. Here's the actual script. There's the style. It's in hyperrealism. There's the voice, right? There's the font. And then there's the pacing, which I'll go over that in a second. Super straightforward. You can actually copy this and go and kind of mess around with it on your own create page and, go get some inspiration there. Cause I think that's really important. Creativity is essentially just taking what already exists and reshuffling in a way that's novel and robust. That's one of my favorite quotes from Andrew Huberman. I'm sure you guys know him. He's pretty popular. So you don't really have to, start from scratch. Go find, inspiration in the content creation process. That's what I've always really said. And that's really why we introduced this is because what better way than to let people kind of know what's possible than just to kind of let the free users videos kind of show here. So super cool there. So feel free to go to the showcase. You don't have to have, an account or anything like that to check that out. So highly recommend you guys do that. Now coming in here, I want to make this super simple because I don't want to drag this out, but I'll show you how simple the process is. So right here, you have your voices, right? And you can see they have tags. These are all through 11 Labs. And, we'll continue to add voices, potentially integrate with their API so people can import their voices. Like we understand that's probably wanted from what we've heard. But from here, you can click here, press play. You can actually preview the voice. So you can come through, grab a voice. Here are the styles. As you can see here, there's a good amount of them and we'll continue to add more. But this is kind of what Frank was talking about. You can create any style in here. As you can see, these are just some previews that can give you kind of an idea of the style, right? So super cool there. You can kind of look through. For this one, I'm going to do futuristic sci-fi. You can grab any subtitle font from here. You can also turn them off because some people like to actually create the videos and then take them into CapCut, and maybe add, a product, maybe for TikTok shop, maybe you want to add your company logo. Granted, we'll probably add those things over time, but we're totally okay with people, expressing their creativity and using other platforms. That's totally cool. Use it as a tool, right? So kind of coming through here, we'll just grab, let's see, generic. That's a popular one. The pacing, this is something that's unique to OSSA that came from a more creator standpoint, from my point of view, right? And then Jaden obviously built it out magnificently. But essentially, when you look at, creating a video, something that's really important is your pacing, right? How fast are the transitions happening, right? If you have a sad video, right? Do you want a bunch of transitions super fast? Probably not. It's going to totally throw off the viewer, right? So that's why that's so important. And that's just like one example of how we're taking this approach is like, maybe another company would totally oversee that. I mean, they actually have. But it's like these little nuances of merging creativity and content with technology. That's a perfect example of something that we've integrated that's very unique, that really serves the end user. Because we really want to tie in, like we said, creativity and technology and make that merge. So you're actually able to adjust, the pacing. So I'll just do normal pacing for now. You guys can test that out. You can also turn on and off transition sounds, which eventually we'll have some pretty interesting stuff there. I actually don't want to talk too much about that. And then coming in here, you just grab your actual color, right, for your subtitles. As you can see here, if you have, a specific brand kit for your brand, for your business, you can just put the hex code in, super simple. And then here, this is really cool. I want to share this, and I hope that anyone seeing this checks this out. So I recently just dropped this. You can click in here. As you guys know, the GPTs are free. I actually created this entire GPT for our community to go and generate scripts, and I'll show you how simple it is, right? So basically, it just asks you who you are. So let's just say I'm a content creator, right? And it's like 6-7 steps. I'll just go through it. It'll take 60 seconds. From here, it's going to ask, what's the script about? So as Frank was talking about, storytelling is absolutely huge. And I think it's always going to be really big. People want stories. They want to be entertained, educated, typical stuff in short form content, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take a look at this article about OpenAI. So I'm just going to grab this here, right? And it's OpenAI, explaining why they fired Sam Altman. I'm sure everyone knows that story, right? And I'm just going to come in here and grab it, right? And then from here, it's going to ask essentially who's the target audience. This is who you're speaking to, right? And I'm sure if you're not familiar with content, target audience, just think about that as who do you actually want to watch your video? Who are you trying to target in terms of the viewer, right? So maybe it's let's see what ideas it gave us, because you can either type your own or grab it. So let's say people who enjoy behind the scenes stories about major tech companies. So what we're doing right now is we're just giving this GPT some context to, what are the scripts going to look like? And then coming from there, right, you can say, what kind of tone do you want? So let's say thought-provoking. Cool. And then I'll bring this full circle. We're almost done here. And then you can grab the type of hook, and it's going to ask, for anyone who doesn't know what the hook is, first seconds of a video, right? You're hooking someone in. It's essentially, how do I get someone to stop scrolling, right? So you can even ask it, give me some examples of hooks. So you can see here how you really get to customize it. So let's just say, we want to do a shocking discovery hook. Cool. And the last thing is a call to action. So I'm just going to keep it simple. So I'm just going to say follow for more. Keep it super simple. And it gives you some examples to kind of get your brain going. Cool. Great. So now it's going to give us some scripts. And I know we talked about, right? We talked about, should we have a tool like this, to provide someone with the means to create a script? And it was kind of difficult for me, but then I realized a lot of people are running into some problems, right? And a lot of people do have trouble writing a script. So the reason we decided to integrate this is that it takes you through a process where it's not just like press a button, make a script, but it takes you through, right? It goes back to the customizability, and that's completely free. So you don't have to be an OSSA.AI user, right? So then eventually, a user can come here and kind of write their own scripts, or maybe they keep using that. But keeping that, once again, that balance between AI and creativity, super important, right? If this was just no opportunity to write a script and it was just press a button and generate me everything, once again, you kind of get into the situation where it's like, it's not really theirs. And I think that's kind of why I created this. And coming in here, you basically get some example scripts, to kind of get your ideas kind of going. And so in this example, I don't recommend doing this. I always recommend, looking over scripts and making them your own. But just for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the hook, right? And I'm going to come into OSSA.AI, and I'm going to grab this body, right? And then I'm going to go here. Perfect. And then I'm going to grab the call to action, which is when you're calling someone to take an action. For anyone who doesn't, do social media, essentially call to action, you're just calling someone to do something at the end of the video. So from there, right, we've set our parameters. We can save them as well. I decided just to make it a little bit faster, so I didn't write out the whole script and take a long time just to use that. But you guys obviously can do whatever is best for you. And then from there, we just hit create video. And I'll kind of let this go, and Frank and I can kind of chat about some more things. But boom, at that point, the video is getting created in the back end. Now you can see it's going to be processing. You'll get an idea. You can see the processing time right now, 6 to 10 minutes. We'll continue to optimize that as we, continue to grow. But it's generally that simple. So now if you click in here, you can see the script that you use. You can see the parameters, the credits. And then once this video is done, I'll probably show it to you guys. And you can get an idea of really how easy this is to generate a video. But Frank, I don't know if you have, any thoughts on kind of the process and,
I think what the most important thing is we came up with this process based on what works, right? So what what Cole didn't tell you guys is that even that chat GPT thing, it came from all the years of knowledge that he has, right? So
Yep.
as a content creator with billions of views, like I never would have figured that out, right? Like I don't even know what a hook is, right? So
Yeah.
like I just basically mirrored what someone else said in my videos. So this makes you into like a really good storyteller. So
Yep.
it's a new skill that people could learn, and the end product is that you get a cool video out of it, right? And in
Mhm.
the future, again, we're gonna have more things that help you along, but this is like one of those. This is like a free thing that you can just go and figure out how to make like a really good script. Like,
Yeah. No. And thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of goes on the process of it's really arming people with the tools to be creative. I think that's like a good synopsis of why we did this. Because we also understand that like hitting a blank page sometimes is a little bit scary and overwhelming, right? You're like, I don't even know what a script is, right? So it's kind of like why we added that. It's of course you still have to go through the steps and you have to look at it, you have to evaluate it. And what I just did right there, like I said, it I don't recommend just copy and pasting anything. Like you should always take a look, but I don't want to just go through and make all those changes now. We'll save that for another. We'll save like the specific content stuff for another live stream. But just for the sake of the example, I wanted to kind of show you guys, what that looks like, and maybe why this generates in the background, Frank. We could dive in. I'll just stop sharing my screen. I'll pull it back up, kind of towards the tail end here as the kind of the final kabang. But maybe you could chat just a little bit about your experience in interviews and finding talent and kind of what you've noticed that you look for anyone who's kind of in that position where they're kind of applying here, applying there, looking for positions. Maybe some advice for them.
yeah, I think it's I have several things that can help improve your odds of getting noticed by recruiters, by companies, by HR folks, right? So I think we're kind of in a unique position because like I happen to be technical, right? But if you're a technical person, most of the people that first look at your resume, it's HR people, right? So you have to kind of structure your resume to be super clear and to have all the keywords that you're like really good at. Like if you know Java, put Spring, put all the things that are involved with the type of job that you're looking at. A lot of people ask you for like cover letters and that sort of thing. I don't think I've ever read a cover letter, right? So it's something that they require and they ask for, but it's not. It's for them. It's not really for anything else. Once you get to the point where you actually have an interview scheduled, make sure you're prepared, right? And the best way to prepare is take a look at the website, kind of see like what the company is all about. If there's any kind of like mission statements or anything like that, see kind of like what the company is about first to see if you're even a fit. Yes, I know that like sometimes people just click, 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 and then whatever they can get, in terms of interviews. But I don't know. I've never found that to be like the best way to do it. It's like a well thought out resume, clear resume. Another really important thing, don't put too much stuff in terms of formatting on your resume. The simpler, the better, because it turns out a lot of HR departments they use software to scan resumes, and so the problem is if you put a lot of really interesting looking formatting, um, the they it might not pick up what your skills are. It might actually have some false positives, right? That's why everyone's gone through this. You upload your resume to a thing, and they're like, "Okay, great. Now put it in text," because it doesn't do a very good job of um, scanning your resume. So have a clear resume, understand what the company does, and something that's like really important is if possible, try to see if you can make little projects on the side. And again, this is not, this is not like a weird gotcha or anything like that. It's it's more of it indicates to the person like that is this interviewing, you have interests, right? And the interest could be anything. It could be a programming thing. It could be like, hey, I'm like really into birdhouses now, right? Like it could be anything, but have like an interesting conversation with the interviewer, because you know sometimes that's what puts that makes you choose one person over another. It's like, hey, are they kind of like a dynamic person, right? And super important, just be prepared, you know, be prepared to talk about what your experience is. One thing about developers is, you know, myself included, is we're not that amazing at showcasing our skills. And I've seen it time and time and time again. Like, you know, we just had someone recently that casually skipped over like a massive thing, but because they didn't think that that was interesting or something like that, they kind of skipped over it. Like, get really good at like doing mock interviews, right? Maybe apply for a place that you might not be as interested in, just to get the bugs worked out, right? Just if you're rusty or you haven't done interviews in a while, get used to it, right? Get the nervousness out, right? It's like it's not always the case that it's rare that you get like a super hardcore interview that does crazy like tech stack questions and all this stuff up front, right? It's usually like people want to get to know people, and then there's like different rounds of interviews. Don't get frustrated with the process too. Every process is different for every company. Like some companies might just do a technical thing and then hire you on or something on a trial basis, right? That's fine. But some companies want to get to know you, see if you're a good fit with the culture, right? So be yourself, right? Like all the quirks, all the weird stuff you're into, just showcase it, and have a conversation with the person that's interviewing with you. It's like you don't want to make it like a robotic thing, right? Make it a little bit more fun, because then that kind of like tends to show a little bit. And if you have, you know, if you have anxiety, and if you're a person that gets very nervous, try to do as many as you can so that you don't become nervous for the one that you really want, right? Like maybe do an interview somewhere where it's not a actual fit, but you just want to get some practice in, right? That kind of stuff is super important. If you're a developer, you have the skills, you know, either had education or you've gone to a boot camp, or it doesn't matter. Always have your GitHub page like in good shape. Meaning, try to see if you can showcase certain projects inside your GitHub, and also always be ready to show a project, because if I'm looking at like tons of different resumes, if somebody has like a really cool app or something that has a URL, it doesn't even have to be like some .com or anything, just somewhere I could click on and like take a look at. You never know. I could be impressed with something that maybe you might not have thought about talking about. So it's different little things you could do to kind of help your situation, um, and get the best result from an interview.
That's awesome. I mean, guys, that's some real sauce for sure. That's some good stuff. I mean, Frank's been around the block for a long time. He's done thousands of interviews. So if there's any sort of action that you take from anyone's advice, it's definitely Frank. It's very valuable. So he has a lot of deep industry experience. So thanks so much for sharing that, Frank. One thing, you know, I just really wanted to hit on is, you know, really what we're looking for, because I know there's still a good amount of people in here, and I'm sure you guys obviously still want to know, like, what are we really looking for? You know, we're really looking for someone who checks a good amount of boxes, to be honest. But at the end of the day, we're really looking for someone who wants to buy into what we're doing. We're not really looking for, you know, someone who just kind of at this moment, right? Someone who's kind of more part-time and just, you know, maybe, you know, kind of contract basis, right? We might have, you know, late opportunities for some people as we kind of go along, but really what we're looking for is someone to really come in and grow with us and build with us. It's my thing. I want to give as many opportunities to the team and the talent that come on as possible. That's super important for me. The team's incredibly important to me. And that's why we're going through all these applicants and we're doing, you know, multiple rounds, because it's super important, because it's a big commitment for us, but it's also a big commitment for you. So we want to make sure we make the right choice for us, for the team. And team is number one to me. That's the one thing I've realized is the company is just a byproduct of the people that are running it at the end of the day. You know, whether that's AI or it's a mom and pop shop, like it comes down to the people. So, you know, it's really important to us. And I just want everyone here to really know that the type of person we're really looking for is someone that is really, you know, obviously skilled in ways that, you know, obviously we would cover inside of the interviews, but just really, really passionate and really wants to make a massive impact, because we're here to make a very, very large impact on social media, on the social media landscape. And we truly believe, you know, over a long enough time horizon that OSSA.AI is going to be the #1 video generation company in the world, because there's so much that we want to do that the world's not even thinking about. Like the way that we are approaching what we want to do and some of the features and some of the opportunities that we want to give to people who want to build with us. I mean, I haven't seen anyone else looking at AI the way we are. And I genuinely mean that. And of course I'm biased. I have to be a little bit, but that's what's really exciting to me. So last thing I just wanted to kind of do was, you know, show this video that was generated. So I'll probably just pull that up. And then we can probably close this out, Frank.
Sounds good.
Sound cool? Alrighty. Let me try sharing again. Alrighty. And for the record, this did finish a few minutes ago. It didn't just finish. So it's a little faster than that. We just wanted to finish up what we were chatting about. But essentially from here, just to show you guys, I know you saw just a brief moment ago how easy it was to create the video, right? From here, you can just click download to download the video. Like I said, you can click into view the details. You can see it says completed. It tells when the date is. And you'll notice like very simple UI. Very important though, because we're trying to take people from basically 0 to hero, right? So it's really important to us that it's very easy to navigate. That's one of our core focuses, is making it very easy. But I'm just gonna click play and show you guys the video. Hopefully you can hear the sound. Let me know if you can.
I'm not picking up sound.
Can't hear it?
No.
Okay, no problem. Hold on. I have to share my tab.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, thanks for the shout. All right, let's see.
This is a dramatic cliffhanger, folks.
Hold on. Here we are.
What if I told you the CEO of OpenAI was fired for outright lying? On November 17, 2023, OpenAI's board stunned the world by ousting co-founder and CEO Sam Altman. Helen Toner, a former board member, recently revealed on the TED AI Show podcast that Altman's dismissal was due to severe trust issues. She claims he concealed his ownership of the OpenAI startup fund and provided inaccurate information about the company's safety processes. Toner herself faced retaliation after publishing a research paper that angered Altman. Despite the board's drastic actions, intense pressure from employees and investors led to Altman's return. This story highlights the complex dynamics of leadership and trust within tech giants. Follow for more behind-the-scenes stories about tech giants.
Well, that's it. Dude, it still blows my mind every time. And I'm sure some people are looking at it and it's like, that was incredible, but maybe I would change that one thing. Well, I'll tell you what, we have a feature coming that, once again, no other company in the world is working on, from what we've seen, and it's going to solve any small problems that people have. And that's really important to us. Is, you know, we're really, that's another big thing too, is like, we are deep in with our users and really listening, and we're working on things that are really serving them. Because the one thing that Frank has taught us really well, because I'm really new to this, to be honest. I wasn't a tech guy when I got into, I was a content creator, you know, a couple of years ago. So I'm learning, but it all has to, you know, serve the user at the end of the day. And if it doesn't, you know, give business value and serve the user, then what are we doing? So we're incredibly user focused. Everything we do is serving the user. And we're super excited. So last thing before we close this out, because we're coming on top of the hour, is there any questions that anyone has? We can actually see the chat here. So we definitely would love to take maybe a couple questions if it's about, you know, OSSA.AI, if it's about me, if it's about the team, maybe about Frank, or, you know, about the position that is still open. And while we're kind of waiting for those to populate, once again, I just kind of wanted to reiterate that it's a process for sure. As you guys know, you saw we have about 1,250 applicants for that one position. So you can probably understand that it's going to take quite a bit of time to kind of get back to everyone. We don't have an HR team. It's just just me and Frank here. So maybe later on, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So I guess we'll just kind of wait around for a second here, see if there's any questions that anyone has.
I'm seeing an interesting one from LinkedIn, and again, apologize if I mispronounce, but Saikat, SAIKAT, for the side projects that person asked, for the side projects, do we need to provide live links, or is a demo will a demo be good enough? This is like the question that everyone asks, but here's the thing. If you don't have a live link, having your laptop like work and function and pull up everything locally, there's a huge chance that it could not work, right? So there's a reason why demos are always so risky, because you never know what could happen. When you're dealing with code, when you're dealing with projects, something could have changed, right? You might have to update something, or God knows what. Sometimes you run something and it works great, and then you run it again, it doesn't work. So it's always good to provide some kind of live link. Again, I would suggest, depending on the type of project, there's always a way to create a link from it, because if it's something like Next.js or something like that, for instance, there's hosting companies like Vercel, right? There's hosting companies like Netlify. There's Heroku, all these things. They always provide kind of like it's a weird looking link. It says something weird in the front, but shareable links are always important. And no one, I don't care if it's a .com that looks pretty, right? It's like, it's okay to be like a demo link, but that's the best way to showcase your talent and the stuff that you've worked on. Because then guess what? It might be like, hey, you know what? That demo was so awesome. Let's talk about that demo. Tell me what you did. How did you build it, right? These are the kind of questions that I would be asking somebody, just to walk through like how they built it, what challenges they came up with. That's how you really get to know someone's like skill, right? If it's something that's like a really hard problem, I might be super impressed and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe the person doesn't have exactly what we need, but like, man, they've proven that they can get over like a pretty big hurdle. So let's go with that person, right? I've actually done that before, and it's proven to be a really good indicator of someone's flexibility. Let me see. All right. Here's another one from person named Alan. It says, thanks, Frank, for the tips. You're welcome. Unfortunately, even just getting an interview without experience right now, it seems impossible. No one wants to shape a new developer if he's in his 30s, with a smiley face. And I will be the first person that will tell you point blank, you are 100% wrong. 100% wrong. The age thing or whatever you're saying, there's people that I have personally taught how to do React well into their 40s, right? That shifted from a legal position. They were like an attorney, and they wanted to learn how to code. That is a myth that I have actively for years been trying to destroy, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what age you're at. It doesn't matter what your skill level. The level of effort that you're trying to get to, it's like, don't worry about the HR people. The HR people, they look for keywords and all that stuff. Keep trying to see if you can reach out to people in other ways, right? Do networking, right? There's various different ways, or just showcase your stuff, whether it's on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or whatever. Showcase the demos and the stuff that you've done. Because guess what? Maybe the company that you're applying for might not hire you, but guess what? There's people that do freelancing, right? That might need a technical person to do some freelancing. That's always an amazing way to get started. So please, that myth is a terrible myth. I really despise that. That's something that people even think about. It's not true. It's not true. And again, maybe you might not get a full-time role at like some big company, but you could be a freelancer. And maybe the person up the street that needed to get a little product done, maybe you're the person that can solve that problem, right? And that's how you learn, and you get more experience, right? So that's a complete myth, and please stop spreading that. Like, please. There's remember, there's room for everyone in the programming space. Like specifically, like I do volunteer work for an organization called Girls Who Code. Guess what? I volunteer my time to teach younger STEM like girls how to code, right? Because again, that's a whole thing that like, oh, I can't get a tech job because I'm a girl or something. It's like that's something that's like for some reason ingrained in people's mind. It's not true. It's completely not true. Give it a shot, right? Go for it. Maybe find something freelance. Work your way into it. Um, sure, someone like the big fan companies, or I don't even know if it's even FANG anymore, right? It's like so many. Maybe those companies have a very stringent process. That sounds good, but there might be other industries you can get into that don't require that. So please stop spreading that. That's a myth, and I absolutely hate it.
Well, thanks so much for sharing that, Frank. Let's take one more here, and then we'll probably wrap this up. And thank you so much for everyone who's been kind of here since 1 p.m. Like I said, we're going to be doing these a lot more often. Frank and I will probably hop on another one sometime soon. So make sure to follow Frank and stay up to date with kind of what I'm doing. I'm sure you guys will continue to kind of keep in touch as we kind of move forward here. So thank you so much, first of all, for taking some of your valuable time to kind of listen to what we have going on. I hope you guys have gotten some value from this conversation. That's always the goal here, is to, obviously let you guys know what we're doing, but really just provide value. Super important to me. So thanks so much, Frank. The last question I see here has to do with, since this platform can be used for content creation, will you integrate with social media apps like Instagram or YouTube Shorts and provide essentially analytics? Yeah, 100%. We do plan to, do direct to platform posting. It's already been, Frank and I were just talking about this, I think yesterday or the day before. I think one thing that is kind of interesting, but makes a lot of sense is, we're in this inflection point right now with OSSA, where it's like, we're kind of teetering on that next stage. We've really adopted some solid workflows. We're very disciplined with what we're doing, and we're very clear about the users that we're serving. And I think one of the hardest things is prioritizing, right? People talk about strategy. Like, what is strategy? Strategy, in my opinion, is just prioritizing, right? And in business, you have unlimited resources, but with finite options. Really, you can only do so many things. So it's like, that is something that would be of very high value to the user. But we've decided as a team that there's a few things that might be a little bit higher value, because it's like, to me, that's kind of the cherry on top of like, wow, this video is really good. If only I could post it. And it's like, at that point, it's like, okay, let's solve that problem. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we're going to build, but it's not like a right now thing. But with that being said, this next developer bring on, maybe that's something that might be up their alley. We don't know. So I guess we'll just have to see. Cool. Well, I think that's pretty much it. This has been a great one. I'll probably toss this up, as a podcast as well. So we have a podcast. Frank, it means a ton. Everything you're doing for us, and you've obviously had a tremendous impact, and I'm sure you've had an impact on some of the individuals listening here today. So shout out to Frank for taking some time to hop on here. Like we said, we got a lot of applications, so please give us a good amount of time to kind of get back to everyone. It's definitely a lot of individuals, but we're super humbled to have, all the support. And yeah, make sure to follow me and to follow Frank, to keep updated. Follow the OSSA.AI page, and just appreciate you guys kind of keeping up to date with what we're doing. It means a lot, because we've been working real hard on this, and we'll continue to work hard. And the last thing I would say is that, just wanted to reiterate this: make sure, even if it's not a right fit for now, I challenge you guys and encourage you guys to keep up to date with what we're doing, because as we grow, we're going to definitely be seeking out more talent. And if it sounds like, from what you've heard today, that you think this is something that would be really interesting for you, just make sure to stay involved, because you never know. Frank, you have anything else?
No, nothing else. But again, thanks so much, Cole, for having me on. Like I said, just stay positive, guys. Like, this is for a specific role, for a specific time, for a specific company. The goal should always be lifelong learning. So I've been doing this for a really long time, and I'm still learning something new every day, right? Like, that no one can take that knowledge away from you. So keep going, be encouraged, and crush it. Really, like, learn as much as you can every single day.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for all the love in the comment section. I saw them all. I can't read through them all, but I'm seeing all of them and reading them here. So thank you guys for being here today. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a wonderful whatever today is, because sometimes I lose track of the days because it's like Groundhog Day, brother. All righty. Thanks so much, Frank.
Sounds good.
All right.